must cross the level with Eritrean. In recent weeks, this has also caused a stir in Switzerland. Triggers are usually fixed by regime loyal. Their interpretations, countrymen feel these events as propaganda of the ruler, from which they once fled. Selina talked about the bitter fight in the Eritrean community. With stones and sticks, Eritrea go at each other. 12 injured, the Zurich cantonal police in between. The violence in the Eritrean community has been making headlines for months. Mass brawls under Eritrean. Eritrea chaos after fix, demonstrating throw stones at police. Jail of Fingen Canton Solo Tower end of March. Young Eritrea demonstrate against one. Firmly loyal to the regime, the police puts water cannon one. The fixed is broadcast live online. The national flag of Eritrea is omnipresent. Also, the flag of the sole ruler's governing party is to be seen as celebration in the sign of the ruler. Why is violence escalating within the diaspora? Our research begins on the soccer field. Match of the Eritrean League in Zurich. Here regime loyalty and opponents play together. But before the mud admonishing words of the league leader, I told them that they should play peacefully, and as we have done for 2 years, and should go on like this, and I also wished them a lot of luck. Here it is only about sports, so it remains peaceful.
Zum Beispiel, wenn einer eine andere politische Meinung hat, dass akzeptiert soll als Spieler, nicht als seine politische Meinung, keine religiöse unterschiedliche Meinung haben soll. Es geht nur Fußball.
One delicate terror. Politics is not an issue on the soccer field. No, friend, for this would lead to conflict. I do not know what harm I should just do. But we want to know when firm and against demonstrations take place. No one can or will tell us this. Later, we will receive a hint to our next fix. Would you be ready to go to Geneva? It is pretty sure that it will take place. Actually demonstrate in the middle of June, especially by Eritrea against one. Feast of the regime troll. It is the old flag of Eritrea, before the current president came to power. The boys blocked the way to the fest local. The Eritrean Women's Association has invited to the festival with this flyer, the women military clothing a provocation. This is to put pressure on us, we who have fled from the dictatorship. And so they try to continue to control us in Europe as well. And Noraponi and tea. The regime supporters see it quite differently. They are angry at the demonstrating. They are terrorists for me. Sorry. It has never been as bad as today. No. Why is it like this today? I do not know what they have. He fled from forced military service. Been gym test award 34 years. I was in Elytra with 17 years old to military gang. After that, I am vegetarian, just me. I was like slavery. After that, I braided to Sudan, through the desert, Sahara and through Mediterranean. Simply yes, no human rights, no. So freedom of expression had no future. That is why I am one braided. He belongs to the Blue Revolution movement. In social media, we find videos of the opposition movement, provided with the hashtags Blue Revolution, or also Philippines Hamadu Mother Earth. One known face of the international movement. On TikTok, he has almost 45,000 followers. Also, he appears again and again behind Gareski Mr. The message is clear. It takes a regime change in Eritrea. In Geneva, the boys demonstrate loudly but peacefully. But violence cannot always be prevented. This is what happens when two opponents meet. And the casual eye, that was just for war propaganda. Not allowed in Switzerland, I am sure. For example, Putin's supporters and supporters would never be allowed to make propaganda here. Swiss politics is on the agenda. The violent Ossian undersang. For National Councillor Fabian Molina, the regime supporters are the troublemakers. It is so that provocation showed pretty much a sign of schematics, because I know that there is also structure. For the regime in Asmara, and that I of course also where Marita talks great, means what must be with the also. You have to observe exactly what is happening. You also have to have a foreign spy at the architects of the country referred, and you have to ensure that treacherous, where it risks Asgard also an effort theatre if necessary-ish. Asylum Minister Beatrice recently responded to such demands. It is difficult to ban such events. We have freedom of expression. I would also like this community here call on this Eritrean community to stop their fights, their violent, or their political or seen undersang, violent here in Switzerland. To hold FDP Council of States Andrea Cardoni calls on the Federal Council to take measures against the regime supporters. Hold judicial measures, become a sedge, Aflash as a refugee. And he still makes and sixth only one aerial kick or even creates Frederici with which he spies or blackmails for the regime. He must even.
Und heute sagt der Bundesrat, ja, nur weil einer einmal ein bisschen Werbung gemacht hat für das Regime, können wir ihm nicht das Asyl gerade entziehen. Das verstehe ich nicht. Das ist ein massiver Widerspruch, zu sagen, ich bin geflohen und dann hilft man denen.
When that is apparently so Quarken with the red end pulled the barrel himself. In Geneva, we are allowed to go to the festival to those loyal to the government. Many have fled here for decades. Before Eritrea became an authoritarian regime, back they go on vacation.
Ich gehe jedes Jahr für 1-2 Monate zurück und besuche meine Familie. Ich habe nie etwas Problematisches gesehen.
Den Präsidenten Isaias Afewerki verehren sie als Unabhängigkeitskämpfer.
Because he is the best, he is very strong. Do they understand the people who call him a
Diktator bezeichnen? Das verstehe ich nicht. Er ist kein Diktator. Das ist nicht wahr. Die Jungen sagen das, weil er sie nicht machen lässt, was sie wollen.
and they find that good exactly, he is very good.
Genau. Er ist sehr gut.
He has been in power for over 30 years. He led the Eritrean struggle for independence from Ethiopia too. Since then, he reigns with an iron hand. Most must provide a so-called national service indefinitely. That is why many flee. But how the situation on site is really is controversial. The review visited the country in 2017, in which many things work, and also student parties are celebrated. At the same time, there are reports about internment camps for conscientious objectors, and about brutal torture methods. Again, we meet the boys' professionals. Who leads them? How are they organized? They say well-known heads like these are figureheads.
zwar Aushängeschilder,
More
mehr
but not.
aber nicht.
Ein konkretes Anführer haben wir nicht. Wir wollen uns auch jetzt organisieren. Wir sind daran. Wir können nicht jetzt, ich kann nicht eine konkrete Antwort geben, weil wir sind, wie sagt man, nicht zentralisierte Dings. Oder wir versuchen in jedem Land, wo wir leben, das, wo wir transnationale Repression erleben, versuchen wir halt die Behörden klar zu machen, unsere Stimme zu erheben, genau.
They would communicate with letters and emails. The security authorities about the solidity of the regime inform trailers and show a recording from Canada. I find where I am born here, become militarist mentally.
Militarisiert mental. Und man sollte wirklich etwas dagegen tun. Das ich glaube und denke, das ist wirklich gegen unsere demokratischen Werte.
Worldwide came in the last months to violence between Eritreans. Scenes from Tel Aviv, Israel. Bergen, Norway last September.
Im letzten September.
The Hague, Holland at the end of February.
Ende Februar.
In Stuttgart, Germany, the Eritrea do not only go at each other, but also to the police. Almost 30 police officers are injured. Also many Eritrea from Switzerland were on the spot. 63 suspects come from Switzerland. This surprised us itself. Eritrea on both sides are accused. Regime use force to supporters and opponents. And Jack, that was all. John Behan is one self-confessed supporter of the regime. He does not understand why they are firmly disturbed. They had nothing to do with propaganda, he assures. This is a fix. That is us is like a social network. We meet our children, our women meet them, and we celebrate with our culture and so on. This has nothing to do with propaganda. Now, there are also videos on the internet where you can even a culturally stable children lurks with toy guns. Is because the culture exactly that is exactly that have are. The children what they wear with gun and with clothes. This is the US story. How were the free fights? To the view, or they had their clothes, and with the Kalash head and so. That is simply way. How that our independence has come true. Then he goes to affirm of the regime loyal. We are not allowed to. Later this, broadcast live on social media, a provocation for regime opponents. The Rampart threatens to escalate the situation for Geneva. The police must mediate on several fronts. Eritrea celebrates its Independence Day at the end of May. The cantonal security authorities were therefore before further collisions